There is something that we do that is so part of the fabric of how we communicate and connect that we don't even realize that we're doing it until you decide that you are not going to do it. And then you can no longer tolerate it. For me, it's like nails on a chalkboard. Can you guess what I'm talking about? Welcome to Possibilities. I'm Hina Khan. I'm a peak performance coach, and I help my clients create a life that is rich in all areas, one that they love without the hustle, the grind, or the struggle. Okay, do you think that you know what I was talking about? That thing that is so woven into the fabric of the way that we communicate? Let's see if you guessed right. It is complaining. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, there's all these departments set up to take your complaints. We live in a society where complaining is a way of life for some people. It's a pastime. It is sadly a way of being for so many people. But I gotta tell you, I am not in harmony with that anymore. And I really make it clear. I literally cannot tolerate it. We had our first client retreat a couple of months ago. And what I like to do at the beginning of the retreat is lay out some agreements so that the clients and myself, we're all on the same page of expectations. And one of the things that I said was that if someone has an issue with something, that they would not complain about it. They would go to the person that can help them with that issue. So for example, if they had an issue with their flights, they would go to the people that are taking care of flights and let them sort it out. What I did not want to see, and this was so important to me, was them complaining to other people about their flights that can do nothing about it. And then they're building momentum. And then you know what happens? So sometimes you're listening to someone complain about flights, and then you think, well, I got to commiserate. So let me go into my memory and think of something that I wasn't too thrilled about, and then I can complain about that as well. And then we're just building momentum. Can't even get the words out about complaining. And that's usually what happens. And people don't even notice it because it is so pervasive in our society that we think that we are simply being supportive by listening and sharing our own list of complaints. I got to tell you, in my opinion, complaining, I think, is one of the lowest vibrational levels. I think complaining sucks the air out of the room. And when you are in it, when you're in that space of complaining, you've cut off all possibilities. You're cut off from the miracles that can happen right in front of you in that moment. You're cut off on new ideas that you could bring to the situation when you are stuck in that low-level vibration of complaining. Okay, I can feel it. I feel it through the cameras. Some of you are thinking, but what if something's really, really wrong? Like, there are some legit complaints. For example, the air conditioning isn't working in your hotel room. That is true. That is true. That may be irritating and frustrating. So you call guest services and they're looking into it. Now, what many people do is that then they will tell the people that they're traveling with. So let's say you're traveling with a bunch of people, you all have your separate rooms, your air conditioner isn't working, you've called guest services to have guest services sorted out, and then you're meeting your friends by the pool or at the beach, and what are you talking about? It was so annoying. When I got to my room, the air conditioner wasn't working. And then to be kind, they find something to complain about or that's wrong with the hotel or the room as well so that they can commiserate. Oh, yeah, my AC was working, but I did find that my luggage took a long time to get to the room. So are you seeing how this happens? Are you seeing how easy it is to create momentum around this? And we've got liftoff in this place. Like, we're all talking about it, and it sucks. And now, this is the energy. It's from this place that they are creating their experience. They're creating their experience from noticing what is wrong. So can you imagine, go back there with me. They're at the pool or at the beach and they're starting to complain. And then it's like, Well, where should we go for dinner? It's not going to be easy. I promise you, 100%. Dinner plans will not be easy. Oh, I don't know, this place, that place you need reservations, and on it goes. So the possibility for something different, something positive, does not exist on the same frequency of the complaint. It's not possible for them to experience something radically different, even if it's right in front of them. They just can't, not if they're at the level of the complaint. They cannot see it. They are locked in and honed in on this one way. And oh my gosh, then people will start arguing for their limitations, for what is wrong. And they will see it right through the end. Meaning they will leave the situation from that place to firmly lock in how awful it was rather than being open for the breakthrough. This reminds me of a story that Price Pritchett talks about. Price Pritchett wrote this book, get it? It's so good. It's like this thick, this thin. It's called U Squared. And he talks about being at the Millcroft Inn, which is in Ontario. And he says, I'm in the Millcroft Inn and I'm looking at the window and I'm watching the life and death struggle of a fly. The fly wants to get outside and it keeps going harder and harder and harder against the window. Why did the fly think that this was the only way? When just 10 steps away, if it would just pivot, a door is open and the fly could find the freedom that it seeks. So this is what happens when we're complaining. We can't see opportunities or possibilities, and we're stuck in this one way of doing things. You're cut off from all other opportunities when you're in the place of complaints and arguing for your limitations and then finding anyone that will commiserate with you. And the possibility for something different will die there on the windowsill. So I want to be clear about one thing. There is nothing wrong with dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction is really a good thing because that's sometimes where creativity is born out of, being dissatisfied because you want something different. It gives you clarity that you want something different. It can give you clarity on what you prefer. It's an opportunity to stretch, to go beyond it. And that is the open door that takes you from bondage to freedom. Can I give you a few examples? Let me give you some concrete examples of what this looks like. Okay, so on our recent retreat, one client had a flight home on the day of the excursion, and this was the last day. It was her husband's birthday, so naturally she wanted to get back in time. But she also wanted to do the excursion. Rather than complaining that she had to miss out, she asked if she could go to the airport from the excursion. And so she got to do part of the excursion, hang out with us, and keep her word to her family, make her flight, and go to the airport. It would have been so easy for her to sit and complain about it, but she didn't. And she found the open door, the opportunity. During one of the exercises that we were doing during the retreat, one of our clients was really struggling. I got to tell you, some of the exercises, we go deep. And she could have complained about it, but instead she found the doorway. What she did was she flipped it and she changed up the exercise in a way that she could get value out of it, in a way that it could work for her. Isn't that amazing? She created that. Another client overheard some people making dinner plans, and she felt left out. It triggered an older version of her of being a victim. But she had decided then and there that she is not a victim anymore. So she decided not to complain and create something different. And do you know what she did? She created her own dinner and invited others to join her. This is the growth. Like, are you getting this? This is the growth. It's taking 100% responsibility for your experience and creating what you prefer when you're in the contrast. Let me just say that again, even just for myself. You take 100% responsibility for your experience. This is the experience you're having right now. And you create what you prefer. I would love it to be this way. And you're doing it when you're in the contrast. life-changing. This is a standard that I use in my life because I have things that happen that are not to my liking. At the retreat, I ordered coffee to my room and they always brought it in like this big pot to keep it warm. And this time I was like, what is going on here? They brought it and they brought it literally in a teacup, like what you would be making tea in. And I thought, that's different. I was a little annoyed. I wanted to have my coffee, but then I thought, you know what? Doesn't even matter. I'll have a few sips of this. I'm ready early. I will then go downstairs to the restaurant, take my book, and have some time to myself there before the team comes and meets me. So I didn't need to even phone down to room service and let them know that I wasn't thrilled with the way that they delivered the coffee. In that contrast, in knowing what I didn't like, I knew what I would prefer, and I actually created a better experience because then I went down to the restaurant, and then Drina, who's on my team, she ended up coming down earlier because now on my team, we're getting places early. So she was down earlier, and then her and I had a lovely conversation. So much opens up when you decide that you are not going to complain. So will you do it? Will you give not complaining a try and see what happens? There is nothing to lose and so much to gain. Let me know in the comments if you're going to try it. And before you do anything else, you know what to do. Rate, review, subscribe, download, all the things. And I will see you here next time.